Ashot over here.
Hi, my name is Ashot, or Ashok, whichever one you want to go for. I'm a computer science major and also an economics major. So I guess over the last couple of decades, we've seen, at least in the United States, a growing disparity of wealth and income. We've seen money concentrated in the hands of just a couple people, at least, you among them. I'd say you're doing pretty good. But in addition to this, we've also seen growing power of money to influence politics, especially with the Citizens United court case. So we have kind of a cycle where the money is, in a lot of cases, who has the money influences what kind of information gets out. So I'm wondering, do you think that this is the question of, making voters more informed, increasing people's ability to make rational decisions in regards to politics is something that we should be focusing on as a nation?
Well, I definitely think that, first of all, the world at large is less inequitable today than at any time in history. That is, the poorer countries are getting richer faster than the richer countries are getting richer. So the number of people in abject poverty, percentage of people, is at an all-time low today, and that continues to go down. And innovation will continue to drive that down. My favorite metric is the global under 5 children deaths, which is now somewhat under 8 million a year. 50 years ago, that was over 20 million a year. So I do think that in most problems, time is on our side. You're absolutely right. There are some big fortunes, and society can't, it's not good to have a society where you don't have mobility in between different income levels. That is, if you're born in the bottom quartile, education ought to be good enough that you have a reasonable chance of getting into the first or second quartile. And so if you really look at where we're letting people down in terms of the American dream, I wouldn't say, and you can say this is self-serving, I wouldn't say it's because a few people are very rich. I'd say it's because we aren't doing a good job in education to give them an opportunity to move up into the top few percent. In terms of the very rich, Warren Buffett and I, we're the two wealthiest Americans, are certainly believing that the rich should be taxed a lot more than they should, and the rich should give away more of their wealth than they currently do, and we've certainly been willing to speak out about that. Warren is the only person who's ever had a tax named after him, the Buffett tax, which is sort of about he should pay more than his secretary should. So you can be very frustrated with the political system. I certainly am myself right now. I was in Washington, D.C. on Monday and Tuesday, meeting with members of the House and talking about things like cutting science budgets, is not the way to keep the country strong. I don't know exactly why politics feels so frustrated right now. It certainly worked very well up to now, and so maybe, the system will realize the problems that it has there. But I don't think, just by getting rid of the wealthiest in the country, that would automatically solve these other problems. I really think you do need to fix the education system. I do think you need to get the cost of education and healthcare to go down. Then I think our society will feel far more equitable just for those reasons alone.
Let me ask a question about civic discourse for a second. I was worried 10 years ago that the web and our ability to get information targeted just to us and to communicate with people who are just like us was going to sort of increase the hostility of civic discourse, the fact that I don't have to listen to people who disagree with me because I can find a cluster of friends. It seems to me that that's happened, but it's not obvious to me that technology has played a role.
We have a variety of things that may have led to the current polarized situation. We have money politics, which is bad. We have districts where the voters have the they're designed so they're safe districts, so that the primary allows somebody who's fairly extreme to the left or right to be the one who ends up holding that seat. California actually recently went and fixed that. Could that be fixed more broadly? Could you fix money politics? And certainly the media, people do wonder if this polarization partly comes from, you know, the Fox News phenomena, that you're kind of listening just to those people who agree with you. I don't really know. I do think that underestimating people's ability to go and find things that represent broad viewpoints, I wouldn't want to be too pessimistic about that, because, you know, the web gives you so many choices. I do think it's far better than broadcast TV. You know, that if you're curious about a topic, your ability to dig in about that topic and learn about the topic. One thing I worry about, and I don't know what the solution for this, is complexity. You know, the U.S. tax code is so complex that you don't know where to be outraged, and you don't have time to read it. You know, there's this bill called the Volcker Rule. It's 430 pages long, and the law firm's summary is 41 pages long. Well, I'm going to read it, but what percentage of the voters will read it? I don't know. You know, the healthcare reform bill, 2,300 pages. I'm not going to read it. I care a lot about it, but you know, it's too arcane. If it was readable, maybe. But so this complexity, the fact that we can't talk directly about the issues means that we talk about personalities and things. So I think complexity is hurting us. The internet is one of the few things that might help us have explainers who are out there who can talk through, hey, here's why you ought to be pissed off about the tax code, and here's why medical costs are going up, and what you ought to do to help those things go down. So I tend still to be optimistic, but some of the current data points are scary.